Less than 4 days after a Darwin supermarket owner was fatally stabbed by a customer who was out on bail for serious offences after daring to ask him to return stolen items, a similar incident has occurred involving a service station worker in the Northern Territory's third largest town, Alice Springs. On the Northern Territory Police Newsroom website, 27th of April 2025, there is a call for information for aggravated robbery in Alice Springs, where a male staff member at a service station in Saturday had been stabbed after he confronted two males attempting to steal items from the store. At about 10:40 a.m, the shop worker noted the two males trying to steal items, and when they left the store with the goods, the 26-year-old staff member approached them and asked for the items to be returned. The offenders are then captured on CCTV pushing the victim to the ground, and while standing over him, one offender punches the victim once to the head. While the victim was still on the ground, the other offender lunged at him with an edged weapon, stabbing him once in the forearm. Both offenders then walked from the location and remain outstanding. Because there's an active manhunt, we are allowed to see the suspects' photos. Police advise the public not to approach them. If seen, call authorities immediately. The offenders could have stopped when they pushed the worker to the ground. Well, they could have just not stolen anything in the first place, but they could have stopped after standing over him and punching him in the head. By then, their point was well and truly made. But no, they went further. They stabbed him while he was on the ground. It was likely just fate that the victim is still alive. This could have so easily ended like the Darwin shopkeeper murder. Noting these aren't isolated incidents, and it's certainly not just men perpetrating the crimes, on the police website there seems to be daily occurrences of violent crime. For example, just a couple of days ago, so after the murder had made headlines, another aggravated robbery in Darwin. This time it involved two women aged 21 and 23 years old. The two women had been viewed by the service station employee attempting to steal a number of items. When he confronted them, the women allegedly threatened him with edged weapons before he retreated behind the service counter and managed to lock the door. The employee then opened the main doors to allow the offenders to exit the store, where they proceeded to throw rocks and tools at the station window. Soon after, they were located and arrested and had in their possession a number of stolen items and edged weapons. Remember, this is all over petty theft. These individuals are willing to inflict bodily harm over something as trivial as a bottle of Coke or a bag of chips. Society simply cannot afford to let them get away with this. If we do, this will become the norm. Walk into a shop, take what you want, and threaten violence to anyone who stands in your way, or worse, inflict actual violence. Allowing this behaviour to go on unchecked would be disastrous for society. Interestingly, on the NT Police's Facebook page regarding the recent stabbing, someone jokingly commented, "Diddy must have escaped to the NT," a nod to American rapper Sean Diddy Combs, who's currently in custody. I can kind of see the resemblance. But the police quickly shut down the comment section, stating, "To maintain a respectful environment, comments have been temporarily disabled. Thank you for your cooperation and understanding." The police may have closed their comments, but you're more than welcome to share your thoughts on this video. Fortunately, community members are beginning to speak out publicly against this kind of behaviour. The ABC recently published an article titled, "Aboriginal Organisation Urges Systemic Change in Wake of Darwin Supermarket Fatal Stabbing." In the piece, they interview Michael Rodemar, CEO of the Larrakia Nation Aboriginal Corporation, the peak body representing the traditional owners of the Darwin region. He said, "I think it's time that land councils actually stood up and stopped pointing the finger. They need to say, right, we are also responsible for our people. We're here to work with government. We're here to work with Larrakia as traditional owners on this country where primarily a lot of visitors are coming to, and work together to deliver change. I think it's around respect. We don't see Larrakia people going to other areas of the Northern Territory and behaving poorly on their country. It's about educating and reminding people this is also Aboriginal land. Darwin is Aboriginal land, and it's the land of the Larrakia people. We need proper investment in remote communities around housing, education pathways, leadership, and that's what we're hoping to support and work with government." Matthew Ryan, chair of the Northern Land Council, stated, "On behalf of the Northern Land Council, I extend my deepest and sincere condolences to Mr. Feek's family following his tragic death. There is no place for the violent actions that have caused such devastating and avoidable loss of life. The NLC has repeatedly called on the NT government to listen to Aboriginal people and community leaders and to invest in programs that will address the root causes of these very complex issues. But our calls have fallen on deaf ears, with successive governments opting for short-term band-aids rather than working with us to fix systemic problems. Organisations like Larrakia Nation are on the ground, showing leadership and delivering critical services against the backdrop of a broken system." The Chief Minister of the Northern Territory, Leah Finocchiaro, has promised to create the toughest bail laws in the country, with the ABC recently reporting, "NT government promises urgent bail reform after fatal stabbing of Darwin shop owner." Look, when I was a kid, I tried to shoplift small items too, but when the shop owner caught me, he gave me a warning, and that was enough. I never did it again. What happened to those days? What happened to the sense of consequence, where getting caught meant facing real accountability? Instead of fearing the law, these individuals seem emboldened by it.